I don't know if I'm gonna use bleeps. I have no idea.
Don't.
I mean, if we're saying why do we why can't we say like that's
This is a very strong word. I think it's the worst word.
is this the worst word?
The worst one.
You think is worse than
Yeah, of course.
really?
And it was actually.
I don't think is worse than. I'm sorry. I think that is probably like.
You hear like there's a movie based on the word which is I don't know if you heard about it, but you hear so little of it's very a very harsh word, I think.
And I'm just laughing because I'm imagining if we bleep this, people aren't gonna understand what we're talking about at all. Our first episode was like we just jumped right into it. I feel like we didn't actually explain what this is about, like what Nerd Fuel actually is about, because I don't know if with podcasts you actually have to explain shit to people.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, we're gonna talk about so many things. There's so much to talk about that I think the title says it all. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't go really well with the avatars you gave us. Because we don't look like nerds at all.
Do you want to talk about it? That's
But
nerd.
we are. I mean, we are comic book nerds. We are.
That's nerdist.
Metal nerds.
We are metal nerds. Yes, that's true.
We we are metal nerds. We're nerds in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Dio and I are kind of very much into metal.
Kind of very much.
Each into I think our different genres.
Very different tastes. Yes.
Yeah, we have different tastes. Like our tastes intersect in some areas, but I think mostly we listen to different bands most of the time.
Yeah. There's stuff that like you and I listen in a daily basis, but same genre, but not the same band.
Yeah, like power metal, for example. I think we both are into power metal, sort of.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of power metal, unfortunately. Sorry, the radio that I can listen at work, they don't play much of power metal, and what they do is eat like Manowar, Powerwolf, and I think that's about it. Can't remember any other power metal band that I heard recently.
Yeah, Sabaton is pretty cool. Okay.
It's not I mean, there's one song that they play a lot. Actually, it's Cliffs of Gallipoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very cool song. I really liked it.
It's not my favorite, honestly, but yeah.
Get it, yeah. And I found out about the covers from Mon Amarth and Metallica.
Yeah.
I really like those. We actually have a friend who really likes Sabaton as well. We went to see him live. But yeah, it was never really my kind of thing. I mean, they sound really good. I even really like his voice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But yeah, war metal.
It's when you think about it, it's kind of cheesy in a way because
there's so much to talk about. I'm comparing to Amon Amarth. They talk about Vikings. It's their soldiers. Sabaton just does it
about any soldiers. I mean,
about any soldiers.
Yeah, they talk about Sabaton talks about freaking everything. Like they talk about ancient Greeks. They talk about obviously World War I and II. Obviously, they talk about War of the Roses. They talk about the 100 Years' War. They talk about Vikings, I think, as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, and they have a cover from Mon Amarth.
Yeah, sure, but covers don't count.
The Spanish Civil. Yeah, of course it does.
No, I mean when a band when a band makes a cover of a song, it doesn't count as their discography. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't count.
Sure, it doesn't. I mean,
because they didn't write the lyrics or the song in general.
They recorded the song. It's an adaptation, and the lyrics are still about war, so it fits their themes.
Okay, like, fine.
For Whom the Bell Tolls is with Spanish Civil War, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, sure.
It's actually based in the book, but whatever.
I mean, it depends on what you consider. Sorry, I was talking over you. it kind of depends on what you consider, like, what is their songs, if the adaptations of other songs are still their songs or not. I mean, I don't know. I don't consider them like actual songs from them, but fine.
It's not a song from them, but it's a song they recorded.
Sure. Yeah.
That cover still goes into it can still go into your album.
Sometimes there are, yeah, exactly. Sometimes there's covers that go into the
Disturbed
official
does
albums.
a lot of this. Yeah, exactly. Disturbed does that. Like
Disturbed.
they have this from bands like Simon and Garfunkel. Everybody knows that one.
To be
they
honest,
also have a Genesis cover.
Yeah, to be honest, this is gonna sound really dumb, but honestly, my favorite songs from Disturbed are covers.
Well,
like,
I understand that.
I feel bad for saying this because I mean I like the band, but their covers of Sound of Silence. Yeah, the Sound of Silence. That's a very good cover that they made. I also really like the Land of Confusion. Yeah, Land of Confusion.
What we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
It's cool.
But yeah.
But yeah, those two songs are great. I mean, it's the band understanding that a cover is an adaptation, not an imitation.
Technically, if you count like that, then technically, does Apocalyptica even have songs?
Yeah, they do.
They do have songs from them.
Their first album is entirely Apocalyptica plays Metallica in 4 cellos.
Okay, so that...
Yeah, then they made it a thing after that.
Yeah, but that's a good question. Like, if a band does covers of other songs, like, do you consider that there's value in that band? There's value in the band because I like covers. Like, there's a lot of covers that I really like.
This is a very nice topic of discussion.
Yeah, it is. Okay. There's a cover by Halestorm. A cover of
Wait, Hailstorm?
Hailstorm with H.
H-Storm.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I talked like something similar to Hailstorm and you immediately like get your ears up, obviously. But
no, I just wanted to make sure that we were talking about the same band.
Yeah, Hailstorm.
Yes. Hailstorm.
Yeah, the rock band, not the pirate metal. They made a cover of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. And that cover is really good. I love it.
I got lucky enough to actually see Hailstorm live.
Oh, you did?
When they opened for Alter Bridge some years ago.
Nice.
I didn't know them. I really wanted to see Alter Bridge. I'm a really big fan. And they blew me away. I mean, I listened to a couple of songs before I went in. Probably heard I Miss the Misery and Love Bites and I don't know.
They have good songs.
I really like their presence in stage is amazing. They're really cool, and Lizzie actually came back to sing a song with Alter Bridge. It was really cool.
Yeah,
I really like that they had that song.
Nice. I really like bands that have a very interesting presence on stage. I feel like that's honestly, of course, I prefer, I guess, listening to their songs, the recorded version, the studio versions, obviously, because they sound better. The only exception, I guess, is Arch Enemy, which is a band that, for some reason, the studio versions, basically the live versions sound almost as good as the studio versions. I don't know how they managed to do that. I don't know if it's the mixing guy or if it's post-production. I don't know, but it sounds really good, like the live versions of Arch Enemy.
I do think that in terms of, I usually like the originals better. There are some exceptions.
Yeah.
For example, I think that any cover that Motorhead does becomes instantly better. Like any cover, name a song, they cover it, and it sounds so much better.
Yeah, there's sometimes there's covers that sound better than the originals. Like I agree.
Lemmy had a golden touch, man. The way that man played bass and the way he sang, it made Have you listened to Enter Sandman, for example, by
Enter Sandman.
Motorhead?
No.
Yeah. There, I firm believer that there never was and there never will be another frontman like Lemmy Kilmister.
Okay, fine, sure, but what I'm saying is just because a band is old and just because it is like a band that created something, that doesn't automatically make me like that band more. Like it's a
No,
band like any other band. I see all bands equally, and there are some bands that simply just kind of
but okay.
work better for
Perhaps
me. I don't know.
this is where we where the thing about our
Our
uh,
genre tastes
not being
diverge.
yes not
Yeah.
being the same. So, what would you say is your favorite genre?
My favorite genre is probably melodic death metal or death metal in general. They
Yeah,
call it
my favorite is thrash.
your favorite is thrash metal. Okay.
Thrash
I
metal.
kind of I kind of could assume that. I mean,
That's pretty obvious too.
yeah.
I mean, and I'm not going to say that Metallica are the best thrash band in the world, but they certainly were for a very long time.
Yeah.
I do enjoy nowadays. I do like more crossover thrash, like it's faster. It's mixed with punk and it has a lot of faster tempos and better and the drums.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But there's a thing that about death metal that is just that I don't know if it's just my opinion, but I think both death and gothic metal have like that similarity as well. And I think we could go into like explaining what each genre actually means because there's a lot of
I don't want to do that
different.
actually.
Yeah, that's a bit complicated and controversial, but
Hmm.
um, the thing that I really enjoy about death metal is the meaning behind what I think death metal is. Because death, when you think about death, death has multiple emotions attached to it. Because death could be you killing someone, so the more violent aspect of it, or death could also be the mourning of someone that died, or the death of yourself. And I think because you have death is such like a very complicated thing that humans don't quite understand very well. I think death metal is basically that as well. It explores a lot of different faces of this tragedy, sort of, from all sides, from the side that creates it and from the side that receives it. And I really find this kind of back and forth interesting because you have death metal bands that are really like sad and sorrow and just depressing. And then you have death metal bands that are basically the opposite. They are either like violent or sometimes like Arch Enemy. The reason why I love Arch Enemy so much is because they are singing about things that are actually kind of uplifting in a sense. Like they're about
Yeah,
revenge,
their
but
songs
and
are really bad.
retaliation. And I love the message that they use death metal, this very violent thing, to turn it like almost upside down and to make the message instead of destructive, it's almost constructive in a way. Of course,
Mhm.
they have some pretty drastic songs like any death metal band has, but I just love this versatility. And melodic death metal specifically has this kind of emotion that I just can't explain. Like from I think Insomnium and Arch Enemy do it better. Um, they have this kind of these riffs or these solos. They have this emotion attached to them that is. Arch Enemy uses a word for this that I really like. It's called Saturnine. Do you know what Saturnine is?
Isn't that the yearning for something that you? No, it's not. Go
Sa-
ahead and explain it.
Saturnine is like a kind of sadness that comes from the lack of emotion, I believe, or that comes from um it's sort of like emptiness. When you feel empty, an emptiness like around you. Sort of like loneliness mixed with sorrow, and but it's an emotion that I have felt a lot of times before actually, and I guess that's why death metal kind of works so well with me, is because I understand it, at least now. Because here's the thing, my taste has changed a lot. I started listening to heavy metal was, I think, really what really sparked my curiosity was actually Dragon Force, because I listened
You
to
to the fire and the flames.
Through the Fire and the Flames. That song. Okay, let's talk about Through the Fire and the
I'm not,
Flames.
I'm not. Listen, I am not mocking you in any sort of way. That is one fucking epic first metal song to hear and to actually enjoy.
It is. It is.
I'm
And it was honestly, it was like the first metal song that I got like completely addicted to that song. Like I was
lit a little spark in you.
I was like, "Holy shit, what is this?" I was like, "Holy crap, these vocals, this solo, the solo that lasts for like what, 2 minutes or something? I don't know. Like it's
I think it's longer,
insane.
actually. It's insane.
It's insane, that song. And I listened to that song, and I got really into metal because of that song, basically. Like that sparked my interest. But then, I started listening to other stuff because it wasn't like my main thing. And it only became my main thing when I discovered symphonic metal. And symphonic metal just rang so many of my bells that I just couldn't stop listening to it. And then, of course, from there, well, actually,
What bands did you hear?
I guess symphonic metal is not the best the best genre for me to
it has
describe it.
keyboards and no,
What?
like and violins and stuff like that.
Yeah, symphonic metal has, symphonic elements like like in
Keyboard.
like piano and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it's actually Epica was the first symphonic / gothic metal band that I heard. And I prefer to call it gothic because symphonic metal doesn't really use harsh vocals that much. In fact, it almost never uses harsh vocals. And that is a big distinction that I like to make, is gothic metal is, it has that
You get a
romantic side.
church.
It has the it has
Yeah.
the contrast between, the female like beautiful vocals and the demonic growls of death metal, basically. It's like
Mhm.
I consider that uh gothic metal is the mix between symphonic and death. It's what I consider.
Okay, that sounds good.
It's my version of describing the genre, because I mean there's a lot of things in death metal, in gothic metal, that are not any like at all what I just said. I mean, it comes from gothic rock and etc. etc. I know, but like I don't know. It's just I just find those two genres, so death metal and gothic metal, I just find those really interesting. That's basically it. And obviously, speed metal with with Dragon Force.
Yeah, speed metal is something that I'm more into. They, I think, again, I'm going back to Motorhead because I think that they're a very big influence. I think the second album was called Overkill. And that really got people into the fast drumming of Phil Taylor, Filthy Animal.
Is it double bass?
He only had, I think he only had one bass, but he had probably two pedals.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. I'm not going to say that. Two pedals, two drums was more of a Dave Lombardo thing. I think he was one of the first people to use that.
Okay.
But it's yeah, I think that's what started speed metal. That
Probably.
and Discharge. Yeah, Discharge. I think they even created the D beat style, which is, I mean, it's just bands that really grab that very fast, crazy, insane drumming. I mean, the song Overkill spawned the band Overkill.
Okay, that's interesting.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
It was insane. But yeah, goth metal is not something listen a lot. I've lately been into, very into this band. I don't know if you heard about them. They're called Steel Panther.
Oh yeah, Steel Panther.
I mean, their act is that they were this crazy band that basically created glam metal back in the 80s. Disappeared from the scene and released an album like 20 years later.
So they're
And now
pretending. They're basically pretending that they invented the genre, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
They never break character, like ever.
that's interesting.
It's crazy insane. All their interviews are like debauchery. Not exactly. That's a very strong word.
Yeah, but they're like they
very
record interviews
naughty and
in
dirty.
yeah, they record interviews in strip clubs and stuff like that. Oh my god, it's
On the back of the
insane.
van.
It's
Where
ridiculous.
groupies go.
My
But
god.
they're cool. I mean, they're great musicians. I found out that the guitarist, Satchel, actually played the guitar in, or I think the solo guitar, for Rainbow in the Dark's cover by Corey Taylor from
Ooh.
the Dio tribute album. And yeah, I was very, very excited about that.
Nice.
And then I listened to some Steel Panther, and their lyrics are gross as heck.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But
true.
yeah, they're cool. They're great musicians.
Yeah. Okay, about bands.
Mm.
You mentioned Powerwolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about? I don't know much about them. I just that I listened to them recently,
Yeah.
like a couple of songs. One of them was apparently the most relevant, or probably the most recent song that they released, which is "Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend."
Yeah. Probably. I don't know.
It was cool. It was a bit commercially, but then I had another one. What was the song? "Sanctified by Dynamite" or "With Dynamite."
I don't know.
That song was really cool.
Honestly, I have okay. Can I say my personal opinion on
Go ahead. Go ahead. I mean,
on
power metal
Powerwolf?
is not something that I'm going to defend with.
Okay. Okay. Here's the
defend
thing. Here's the thing about Powerwolf. Okay, I understand that power metal is like probably the most accessible metal genre like to the mainstream public because I guess it's the easiest one to listen to. And like my problem with Powerwolf is that they are just way too popular for what they do. The thing is, like I'm not trying to be a hipster right here, but the thing is, what the hell are their songs about? Is it religion? But what is their message? This is what I don't understand. Like, if you are a band that is super popular, you have to be popular for a reason. You can't just it can't just be because your songs are like well produced and blah blah blah. It like your message, the message that your band is giving to the public has to be a message of value. And I think that, for instance, Sabaton is like it's grabbing like actual like battles that actually happened and pretending that those battles are like fantasy like stories like fiction. They grab
they
real life and they make real life sound like some kind of crazy movie, basically. Some kind of like insane movie. Basically that's what they try to make. They like and I like that. But Powerwolf is like they're talking about
songs about werewolves, and vampires.
Yeah, they're talking about like religion and werewolves and whatever the fuck they're talking about with demons and shit. Like, what the hell is their message? Because with Ghost, at least you can kind of understand where they're getting at. Like, they're basically demonizing religion, sort of. Like, sort of. I mean, they are grabbing black metal
of our Dark Lord. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. But it has a clear message, almost. Even if it's not like a serious message, because I guess Ghost is kind of like it's a bit silly as well. Like it's a bit. You shouldn't take it too seriously. I assume.
poppy sounding lately.
Yeah,
used
they're very
my
poppy.
A friend of mine got me into them. Actually, my yeah, a friend of mine got me into them. And I listened to their songs, and they were black metal for dummies. I
Yeah,
mean,
Ghost
for the uninitiated, for people that don't like that to be hit with that wall of sound that black metal brings.
Yeah,
They
basically.
sound very poppy and very commercial. Yes.
Yeah. And honestly, that's I guess the downside of Ghost is they don't really have. And I'm not trying to talk shit
Crap
on.
on them. They're great musicians. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
they are
and
great musicians.
I'm not talking. I'm not trying to crap on pop
Anything
music
on
as
Powerwolf
well.
either. Yes, of course.
No,
They
no,
are great
I am trying to shit on Powerwolf, and because the
but for
thing,
the lyrical content,
yeah, for the
not for
lyrical
their
content. No,
talent,
and the thing is,
musicianship.
no, the thing is, I also don't like the voice that he makes.
Okay.
I also am not a huge fan of it. Like
Okay.
the only thing that is kind of good about Powerwolf is really just the music production. That's what I say. But their songs are so dull. I don't know. They just all
Well,
sound
I
the
only listen to
same.
the two though. I only listen to the two. I know
Okay,
you
okay. You
much
listen. You
more
listen to
power metal
two.
than me.
Sure. You listen to two songs. I listen to like what?
Probably their entire thing.
No. I listen
No,
to like
their first stuff.
maybe 7 songs. But the thing is, I cannot distinguish one from the other. They all sound the same. This is like, I don't like when bands just keep doing the same thing over and over.
Hmm.
It's so annoying. It's so like, what the hell are they doing?
Well, some people would say that
Okay, fine.
the opposite. If a band changes their sound,
Okay,
uh,
fine.
I don't
Okay,
know.
like
I mean, okay, there are some bands that are an exception here. Okay, for example, I don't know if you. I'm not a big fan of progressive.
okay.
I have a very hard history with progressive. Like, I have to listen to the band once, twice, 3 times before it actually hits me, and okay, now I can bob my head to this.
Yeah.
The only one of the few exceptions is Tool. First time I heard Tool, I was completely in love with that.
Tool is really good, yeah.
And I think that I still did not listen to their new stuff. They already announced that their new album is dropping August the 30th. I think it was August the 30th. I'm not really sure now, but I think that was it. And they already have some songs, and they're both like almost 15 minutes long, and I still haven't had the time. Or the other day, I was watching, I think it was an Iron Regan concert in preparation for the Vibes. And the dude, they sang like 5 songs, and Tony is like to the crowd, like, okay, are you ready for like 17 more? And they
my
only have
God.
like half an hour to play because they're like the
Oh my
first band
God.
up on stage.
Oh
And
my
just,
God.
just go all out. It's insane. I love the thrash.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I know that thrash is trash, but well, I don't care. I'm a trash baby. I live there. I swim in that shit.
You swim in thrash. Okay.
Yeah, I really
Okay.
like it.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. We'll
But
we'll
since
have
you were
our
mentioning death, and I've been listening to a lot of death.
Okay.
Actually, not death metal, but the band.
death. Yeah.
Again, yeah.
That is death
Uh,
metal though.
I am very sad that I didn't get into them later because I wasn't at all into death metal until very recently. I got into. I mean, I listened to it. It wasn't my thing, but I got into Death and Black recently, and wow, it's been a ride for me to just discover some of the bands. I'm very, very sad that I didn't discover Death sooner. I probably could have just heard to their last album, which is actually my favorite, and the one that isn't death metal at all.
Okay.
It sounds way more progressive, but I don't know, the transition. I mean, he pretty much was the first person, I think, to make that kind of sounds with his voice. He was growling to the microphone, not singing or screaming. It was very different. And in his last album, there's a cover of Painkiller from Judas Priest. And I shit you not, this guy can hit the same note as Rob, but he's screaming at top of his lungs for the entire song, man. Like, how is he not bleeding? What is that?
Yeah.
It goes very into I think a progressive and technical and melodical stance. It still is death.
Do you want to?
But it's different. I mean, it was really cool.
Do you want to talk about Cradle of Filth? now that you're mentioning
too much of it, I still didn't. I mean, I've heard a lot about Danny, and his power, but yeah, I've listened to a couple of songs of them recently too in the radio, which was something about orchid trees.
Oh yes, I actually have been listening to that song a lot lately because it's really good.
Gilded Cunt.
Gilded Cunt.
Mm-hmm. It's very aggressive.
I can't remember if I don't remember. So the thing about Cradle of Filth is, I love the instrumentals. Like it's so well produced. Like the riffs and the solos, and sometimes they have,
What would you consider them?
So what would I consider them? Who?
Gothic? Cradle.
I would.
Because he screams like that.
The thing is, he screams like black metal. The riffs.
Okay.
Kind of. I mean, it's debatable. It's debatable, like the way he screams. The structure of the song is clearly gothic because because it has female clean vocals and male harsh vocals. That's like the most gothic thing ever, the most gothic metal thing ever. That's basically what gothic metal does most of the time. So I would consider them blackened gothic metal, kind of.
That probably goes into the extreme label, doesn't it?
Probably goes into the extreme label because gothic is also an extreme metal genre. So yeah, it's extreme metal, whatever. It's who knows what genre that they are. But the thing is, okay, I really like the instrumentals, but Danny's voice is just...
Is he the new King Diamond?
Yeah, it's really difficult to get into. Like, even I, who am like a fan of harsh vocals, I am into harsh vocals. I would still prefer, like, I think in Cradle of Filth, I would still prefer if Danny just used his normal, like, singing voice, which is like this, no. Like, that is, I think that would work, because it fits the songs. But no, instead he just prefers to rape his voice. Like, do like horrid screeching. He sounds like a baby sometimes.
But maybe like he can really put his voice in a good place and not ruin his chords.
Yeah, like I feel like he's just trying way too hard to make his vocals just
unhearable,
unintelligible, and at the same time make his singing style be completely impossible to imitate, basically.
Wait, what? They have an album, a compilation album called Lovecraft and Witch Hearts?
Yeah, didn't you know that? It has basically my favorite. Yeah, they basically have that band has that album basically has my favorite song, which is the Her Ghost in the Fog. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Her Ghost in the Fog. Okay.
It's really good.
They have a song here called Amor y Mort, Love and Death, like in Portuguese.
That's nice. That's very nice. I remember what I wanted to talk about. Beelzebubs. And
oh yes,
here's the thing.
And how I have not yet listened to their new shit.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Oh, God. Yes.
Did you get more into death metal and black metal because of Beelzebubs?
I mean, Beelzebubs had a lot of me going into black metal. Yes, I
Okay.
know that they don't sound.
Okay, okay. That's the
Their
thing.
singles, the first two singles that they released, they're melodic. They're very melodic, and it's stuff that you really like. But then, I mean, I got into so many other bands, but yeah, definitely Beelzebubs was a very big influence
Okay,
on
yeah.
me, enjoying more of. It was a platform for me to get into Black and Death.
Beelzebubs is awesome. Like, if you guys have not seen their albums or have not read their comics, you guys should fucking go read Beelzebubs or go support them in any way. Go buy their album. Their album is
To buy
out
their
for like
album.
what, 2 weeks or something?
No, it's more now.
More
It
now,
was,
okay.
Early April, I think.
But yeah, go buy their album because it's really good.
I need to buy their. I want to buy their book actually, but I would like it to be signed by the creator. I think he goes around Europe touring sometimes to hand out, to have a stand like in a con or something like that.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool, to actually perhaps he'll come to one of these and we will get to meet the guy and actually shake his hand.
I would love
Really.
that. I would love to meet him personally. Okay.
But I
But
would actually, now that we mentioned Beelzebubs, you know who's behind the cartoons, right? Not the author, but the band. You have a theory about.
oh yes,
who-
yes. Okay. So here's the thing about Beelzebubs. They consider themselves true cult black metal.
Yeah,
Like,
they're definitely not.
They call themselves melodic black metal.
But yeah, they're true cult in their style of living. Yes,
Okay, sure. But here's the thing: you hear their songs, and this is interesting because I heard their songs and I was like, wait a second, this is not black metal. This is melodic death metal, right? I mean, because I heard because I
lyrics.
yeah, the lyrics are black metal, obviously, but the music itself, it's not really like it has.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay.
Of course, this is debatable because different people have different definitions of what black and death mean, and there's black and death metal like fucking Behemoth, and Cradle of Filth, which also fine. But what I'm saying here is when I heard those songs, I thought this is Melodeath. This sounds like Melodeath. And then I heard the vocals of Hubath and Sloth.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I know this voice.
I know this guy. This is Nilo from Insomnium. And then I remember telling you, and you probably remember as well, telling you
I do.
this guy sounds like Nilo. This guy has to be Nilo Savanen. Like, come on. It sound like I was like, it sounds completely like him. You go like listen to Insomnium songs, and you listen to Beelzebub songs, and they sound very similar. And not just the vocals, because the instrumentals also sound very much like Insomnium.
Yeah, probably the people playing are the same.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because
Probably
I don't know if you know this, but I'm a huge fan of Insomnium. It is one of my favorite bands of all time. They are super good.
Like them, yeah.
And then I hear Beelzebubs, and it sounds like Insomnium. Of course, I'm gonna automatically love it. So yeah, Insomnium, it's a great band.
Isn't it cool that this idea that this guy had about a bunch of black metal people living together, a black metal band trying to find a drummer, actually, when they actually find the fucking drummer, they release an album.
Yeah, that's really
An
cool.
actual live album, like in the real world. Like that's so cool. That's Gorillaz, but done the other way around.
Honestly,
they started on paper. I mean, not even on paper. They started on my computer screen, and
Yeah.
now they're this band that exists, and they put out an amazing. I actually like to buy like one of their T-shirts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They're all in a gear, ready to go on stage. That's so cool.
Yeah, I would love to have a T-shirt from Beelzebubs.
But I really need to buy their album. God damn it! The thing is, I don't want to order like a vinyl.
The square-shaped vinyl, the first square-shaped vinyl from
Is it the
Century,
first?
the,
From Century Media.
the first from Century Media, yeah.
I never owned one. I have no idea how to play that. I mean,
But you need a vinyl player, right?
I do have one. But
You have a vinyl player.
I do.
Holy crap! From what century are you?
Actually, from the last one.
Yeah, me too. But like, I was from the end of it.
Me too. I'm not that much older.
Where did you get a vinyl player?
Well, this one's my aunt's. It's just been sitting here, and I have records. Sometimes I'll play. I could buy a new one because this one is playing stuff just a teeny wee bit faster.
I don't think I've ever like actually played a vinyl on a vinyl player. Like I've seen vinyl players, like I think physically, but I've never used one. That's interesting.
The sound is much different.
Oh, it's much. Yeah. I think that there was a band called Winter Sun that I also love, and Jari doesn't want to make vinyls because he's so perfectionist with his sound that he doesn't want to make vinyls because he knows that the sound is different from the studio versions. And I just would like to mention that because it's kind of funny because
I know that there are some bands that prefer to sell their shit in vinyl.
yeah, then there's that as well.
They want to have that lo-fi stuff. Like black metal does a lot of that too. At least the original one, they wanted to be like as raw and lo-fi as possible.
The only true black metal, true black metal is only 240p.
Oh man, the truest black metal is that one that was recorded in some shady woods. Like there's only one copy of it, and it's locked away in a basement so far away, like you don't even know how to get there. No one ever has heard it, and once you hear it, it's up in flames because it's no longer true enough.
It's a metal album that once you listen to it, you have to burn it, otherwise they go after you.
It goes up in flames. Period.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's like you can only listen to it once. You can only listen to it once, and then it disappears forever. No records of it exist anymore.
Can I change the subject here for a bit?
Yeah, please do.
No, not the subject, but the genre. I know that you are not a fan, and that I am somewhat of a fan of hip hop. I already gave a bit of a spoiler, but I wanted to ask you in regards to this. Do you know like what's the most expensive album that was ever purchased?
The most expensive album to be like sold?
Yeah. Now that I mentioned like only one copy of it and stuff like that.
I don't know.
It was for $2 million, sold to a private collector. It was the only copy of itself. It was called Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. It was by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Really?
Yeah, it was purchased by Martin Shkreli.
Okay then. Wow, selling. Wait,
Yeah.
for how much?
For the album, $2 million.
Selling an album for $2 million, a single copy.
Yes.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Some of the clan were against it. It kind of created some beef.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it's something that you should give a try as well. Not all of hip hop is done to just to put out that you have the greatest car or the greatest chains and stuff like that. The earlier stuff was made with a message. It was people
Yeah, no, I understand
To
that.
me, it has the same connotation as thrash. The same type of message of refuse and resist, and
Yeah, yeah, I understand because hip hop, I guess, was like it was invented, like it was the it was from like a lower class, quote unquote, from America, right?
from lower classes, yes, the poorest people, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it
They were
was like a
mixing
sort of
like the DJs at the center stage. They would have these records, and they would put the records, and they would try to make sounds with the records just by playing samples. They will like make beats and stuff
yeah.
by skipping records and stuff like that.
Okay,
And
but
MCs were nothing more than people just hyping the crowd. It wasn't like you had rappers, yes, but like the advent of gangster rap, for example, was with NWA, where they decided to rap about. I mean, Ice Cube decided to rap about his the life that he saw around him, growing up with all the gang violence and the police brutality and stuff like that.
mhm.
So their lyrics are about that.
Okay. Uh, so if you guys don't know, I don't. The only like hip hop that I listened to was.
Is metal.
Yes, the only hip hop genre that I know is metal.
New metal.
New metal. No, 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 no. The only hip hop that I probably heard is Eminem.
And he's good.
Yeah, like Rap God.
That's the only rap song you heard ever.
No,
Okay.
I heard a couple from Eminem.
If you understand rap god, you need to have like a background on Eminem. You have to know like where he came from and
I mean, I know that.
where he's at right now.
I mean, sure, but like I know that Eminem is like he made a movie called 9 Mile of or
8 Mile.
8 Mile.
8. Yeah.
Why did I call it 9 Mile? Oh my god.
It was close enough.
Yeah, so he made a movie called 8 Mile, where he
It's
kind
just
of
much based on his life. Yeah, kind
It's-
of biographic.
yeah, it's kind of autobiographic. Yeah, and well, probably my favorite song from them is specifically the Lose Yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
exactly.
course. But it's a great song. Yeah, like it tells is kind of fantasized, but at the same time, really not. I don't know. He decided to not use his name and not to use anyone's names, and probably that's for, protection. And maybe everything that you see in there is factual, happened exactly like that, because, he's portraying himself.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, the message is pretty much that: lose yourself in whatever you love to do, and do that, and you will be great.
Yeah,
And
I
yes,
like that. I like the message of that song. But yeah,
then
but the thing
there's way
is,
more stuff that you can listen to.
yeah, there's more stuff that I can listen to, obviously. So yeah, but I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not into hip hop, so I really don't like. It's not my thing. Like I can kind of enjoy some songs, but when most of them are about like drugs and hookers, it's kind of like eh.
Well, depends. If you look at it from the point of view, hey, I'm selling drugs, not really cool, but it tells a story, of people having to make do. For example, Biggie Smalls, he raps about in his songs that he used to sell drugs on the street, but to feed his daughter, to put food on her plate.
Yeah.
There was no other way for him. He made money in that and probably in rap battles in the streets because he was really good in freestyle. The streets of Brooklyn made him like smart.
Yeah. Okay. I might not listen to hip hop, but honestly,
You take value in it.
I really respect and
Exactly.
admire people who can do like rap battles. Because I mean,
Improvisation.
for you to improvise rhymes on the spot and for them to actually make sense. Holy crap, like I can't do that if I had
It's not exactly like that, is it?
I mean, sure.
A lot of
Sometimes,
these guys know, like, they have a list of words that they know that rhyme with each other.
that's true. Yeah.
And yeah, they try to. If it's a diss track, if we're battling, if it's about you and about dissing you, I would go for, how you look and what you're wearing. And there's always a lot of stuff that don't change.
True.
Uh,
True. I guess
Of
you
course,
have.
if you can
You
actually make up something at the spot, it's amazing. The
No,
capacity
I
is-
think that's amazing. Like I respect a lot people who can do that, who can like make up rhymes on the spot. So that's basically like where I see value in hip hop is really that. It's like the rhymes that sometimes are just so good. Like sometimes there's like really good rhymes in hip hop. Most of the time it's just like it's okay. But sometimes I get seriously like impressed. Like wow, that's really smart.
Yeah, I know there's a video of Eminem and some other dude rapping for like an hour, like improv rapping for an hour.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
but
of
it's
course, like, in everything, there's shit that has no value. Like there's a lot of people that just mumble. Like in metal, you have metalcore. And that's the part where I get flack, and I need to go get my bulletproof vest. I have this joke that's I read it somewhere, probably on Reddit, that metal is like an apple.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is great except for the core.
I just realized that we're talking about all these all these genres, all these music genres, and people who listen to this might not be into any of this, and we might just be wasting time.
Yeah, but look at it this way. Perhaps there's people that will give it a try.
Maybe
and
maybe
perhaps
we
there's people that are interested. And again, you're expecting people to actually hear this.
maybe we get to actually make people like these bands, or like I mean, we're kind of giving free publicity to these bands, honestly. Sort of. I mean, we're making this is kind of a review, I would say, like a review of.
It's not like we're famous to actually be,
Sure, we're not famous yet.
being making free advertisements. I mean, we're talking about a band, several bands actually, and
It's
we
a
didn't
review.
even actually talk about Ailstorm. And you mentioned Ailstorm with the A.
You mean with Okay, Ailstorm. Ailstorm is one of those bands that they're fun. I wouldn't listen to them.
Consider like pirate metal an actual thing.
Oh, okay. Would I consider pirate metal a thing?
Well, better yet, let me put the question in some other terms. Would you consider that it's worth to create a whole genre based on lyrical content?
No. Like the thing is,
So you think that Viking metal and pirate metal are stupid?
I think Viking metal is just thrash metal or power, depending on which one, or death, depends a lot.
If I'm talking about Amon Amarth, I would say that that's death metal.
It's
I won't
death.
say
Yeah, Amon Amarth is no Amon Amarth officially is melodic death metal. Like I think the most people can agree on that.
Melodic Viking death metal. So like the sound of that.
Why the heck would you like say Viking? Like
It's
just because they are Vikings, that doesn't mean that their genre has to be around that thing. I feel
again,
like that's
there's a lot of people that like labels are stupid, but a lot of people do call them Viking metal. I would call them Viking metal to be more enticing to
I mean,
someone.
okay. Here's the thing.
Yeah, they're a bunch of big swole dudes, and they sing about Vikings, but no, I wouldn't mention that. I was just like,
Fine,
they were
but the thing
a
is,
metal band.
okay, sure. The thing is like, all this genre talk, genres are just a way for you to kind of tell people what to expect from a band. I feel like it's just
Exactly.
it's the genre is never going to define a band, and vice versa. A band is never going to define a genre.
Lies. Again.
Lies.
Maybe,
Come on.
yes, like death is death metal is named after the band Death.
But death metal is not just the band Death. Death metal has
No,
other
of course
things. Death metal has
no.
melodic death metal, for instance. Death metal
Yeah, but
has
that's the
Amon
whole thing.
Amarth, and you compare Amon Amarth and Death, and the songs are very different. Like they're not the
Yeah,
same kind of
but again,
structure.
that's why I would to someone who's uninitiated into Amon Amarth or metal in general, I would rather let them know that yes, this is Viking metal, than to be saying that yeah, this is death metal. Which one do you think they would be more inclined to listen to, even though they're the same band?
But why are you saying?
Like man, they sing about Vikings and shit.
But
How cool is that?
why don't you just say it's a band that sings about Vikings? Like why would you say Viking? Like uh,
It's easier. That's just it. A band that sings about Viking metal.
it's just okay,
Viking metal.
fine. It's easier, but it's
I'm
not.
not saying that they are death metal melodic, as you say.
They are
You know,
melodic death metal.
really like them. Um, but yeah, as I said, for someone who's uninitiated, I would let them know, yeah, I'm
Okay,
Viking
okay,
metal.
sure.
I
But
would
like I
say
feel
Viking metal.
like you okay, sure. If you are going to not take seriously like the genre, because again, genres are subjective and they depend on what you're expecting from a band. That's basically what it is. Like you say, oh, this band is this genre is because you're expecting that band to sound in a certain kind of way. So I guess
Hmm.
if you are as specific and as detailed as to want to know what the songs are about, then sure, you could call it Viking or pirate or whatever. Like you could invent a random genre just to explain what the lyrics are about, I guess. But
Then what about if the people singing the songs and playing the music say that they play one thing, and by definition of sound, they
ooh,
play an entire different thing. Like,
okay, that's okay.
for example,
That's tricky because
what
that's
would you consider Motorhead to be?
what does Motorhead say that they are?
Well, Lemmy used to say that they played rock and roll.
They say that they play rock and roll.
Yeah, we are Motorhead and we play rock and roll. That's what he used to say. He's not dead, so you can't
Okay,
say much
okay.
about
Like
it anymore.
I understand the yeah. It's difficult when the artist says a thing and
Chuck always said that they're a metal band and not a death metal band.
wait, who said that?
Chuck from Death. Like, I don't like the label. I'm a dude who
Oh,
plays metal.
he says he doesn't like the death metal genre,
Label, yeah.
considering his band as death metal. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Again, genres are subjective. So if an artist says that their band is a specific genre, that doesn't necessarily mean that other people are going to agree on that. I feel like I think the genre of a band should be the most agreed upon choice, I think. And I think that people should have freedom to choose what they call what category they put on their favorite albums and bands and stuff. I feel like people should have that freedom. Like as a
That
fan,
label is not subjective.
yeah, as a fan, I think you're free to say whatever you want about that thing. Like if there's a black metal band, but you don't consider that it's black metal, like I feel like you're free to say that it's not black metal,
Like
but it's
Beelzebubs.
like Beelzebubs. But that doesn't mean that it's not. That's just your opinion. Genres are opinions after all, because music is music. Like metal is not restricted to any instruments or to any specific type of lyric style or to any like it has some rules obviously, but you can break those rules. Of course, if you break those rules, people are probably not going to consider it the same thing, but that's other people considering it other another thing. It's not that the music itself does not have an actual label attached to it at all. Like that's what people say. It's language after all. and it's
Yeah,
not.
it's a matter of opinion, and
Yeah,
no, as you said, bands shouldn't be constrained to their uh, to what people say that the music is.
yeah, I think so. I think
Um, like there's some bands that are really hard to put a finger on what they are because
exactly,
each time they release an album, they make something that's
completely different.
like reinventing themselves.
Exactly, and bands are completely free to do that. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I honestly.
Expected to lose a couple of fans, expected to gain a couple of fans.
Exactly, exactly. And honestly, I think one of the things that I value the most in a band is their ability to invent things and to reimagine themselves.
Have you listened to Lulu?
Lulu.
It's an album by Metallica and Lou Reed.
No, I have not
You
listened to
do
that.
listen to that, and then you let me know what you think on that.
Okay, but basically what I'm saying is yeah, I think that you need consistency because you can't just make random crap and not have any sort of theme that your lyrics center around or your any kind of structure that is like when you listen to a song you have to identify that that song is written by this person or by these people. Like you have to know that because that's the identity of that's the specific trademark of that band. But I feel like it is hard for bands to keep that trademark and invent new things. It is difficult, obviously, and you could also consider it's impossible to keep both, uh, to be consistent and at the same time be inventive. I guess surely you could consider it's not possible, but you can. I think you can kind of be a little bit of both. You can be consistent while still exploring new things inside of that theme that you've created, inside of that trademark. And to me, the best bands are the ones that can do that. That can explore things inside of their, you could say their lyric, their style, but they don't completely abandon that style. Of course, that's my opinion. Some people like bands to always sound the same. um,
Yeah,
yeah, and
I must say that usually when I hear change, it's usually for the worse.
okay,
But there
that's
are some
fair.
exceptions to this. There are some exceptions, of course. There are some bands that have redeemed themselves in my years, and then again, that my years have redeemed themselves to me. In another band, like in progressive, as I said before, I have to listen to it like a couple of times before it actually gets into me.
Yeah,
And there are some others that just I listened to the wrong album because I listened to some others and it's good stuff.
yeah, yeah. Okay, can we discuss metalcore?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to discuss metalcore.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't. I can't get into it for some reason.
No, but like neither can I. Like that's my thing. Is like I
Then that's
don't.
not a very interesting conversation now, is it?
No, yeah, it's not. It's not. Never mind. Never mind. Forget it then.
Yeah, I mean, we can discuss where we dislike things. We
Sure.
might have some different things that we don't like about metalcore.
But I've already talked so much shit um about Powerwolf that I don't wanna like I don't wanna seem like the bad guy in this podcast. That's the thing. Like I don't want
Okay.
people to think, oh, this guy's a
I'll get it. I'll go ahead. Okay, fine.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I like about metalcore. I know that there's a lot of things that I said before that go in direct contradiction to this. Like I love crossover thrash. I love thrash metal. Punk. I'm a very big fan of punk music.
Punk is nice. Yeah, I like it.
And yeah, I mean, I love the origins of punk. I used to listen to a lot of Sex Pistols and Misfits and Ramones and again,
Yeah.
Motorhead has a lot of also punk influences. And Discharge again
Okay,
too.
first of all,
Yeah. Mm.
because I feel like not everyone that listens to this podcast is going to know anything about metal genres and stuff. So at least can we like explain what metalcore even is as a genre? Because I personally am not entirely sure what it is. Like,
Well, I can go to Wikipedia and read it.
do you not know?
Fusion genre combining elements of extreme metal and hardcore punk. So it's fast tempos and a lot of screaming.
But
A lot of screaming.
isn't that just thrash though? I mean,
No, because thrash originated extreme, and extreme originated metalcore. It's so different. The bass are repetitive. The drums are repetitive in thrash. There's pretty much one style of drumming in thrash. I know that's not true,
Okay.
but sake of simplicity. And metalcore has a lot of breakdowns. It goes really slow sometimes. Like
yeah, it does. It has variation in tempos, and I think
there are
thrash does
some
not.
bands that do a type of metalcore that I can enjoy, and one of them is Trivium. I'm a huge fan of Trivium.
Trivium is
But I don't think
metalcore.
that- Yes, they are considered metalcore. They are. Trivium comes from the three things that they play, which is metalcore, melodic death metal, and thrash metal. That's it. That was their origin. That's why they're called Trivium.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they do play. They are a type of metalcore. I don't know. I used to listen to a couple of songs by Parkway Drive, also Killswitch Engage, because their vocals are not that bad. But yeah, mostly my pet peeve with metalcore bands is the vocals.
You don't like the vocals. Okay.
Yeah, I know of this.
Honestly, okay. Let's talk about
Yeah.
harsh vocals, and because people know, I think people know metal because of the harsh vocals. Like that's like the main cliche, I guess. That
Not
people
exactly.
assume.
Again, I can show you. If we go to the origins of metal,
No. But I'm saying like
Contemporary, I know.
people who are not into metal, they
The
will
uninitiated.
the uninitiated in metal, exactly. They are gonna think metal is people
They're just
screaming.
people screaming, and that's just noise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing about harsh
You all
vocals.
Satanists. Why don't you kill some goats? What the goat ever did to you?
Wait, is that? Are you doing an emo impression?
No,
Okay.
I'm making up. I think
A character? What character is that? Is that like a
don't know.
like
uninitiated
uninitiated person in metal?
Someone
Okay.
like metal, but also chews up every pop song ever. That all sounds the same.
For the record, I don't hate pop music. I hate most pop music. So
I hate pop music.
you hate pop music? I like all of it.
There are some artists that do good pop music.
What do you think of Pink?
I think that Pink's had a great start, and she's no longer where she was, and she's pop now.
Oh.
She used to actually sound punk-ish.
Okay,
No,
sure.
it's just-
That's fair. Okay, but
But for example, would you consider Queen pop? And yeah, they're pop rock, but they are amazing. I love Queen.
I mean, how do you classify what is pop and what is like?
Pop music, it's if you can you can say it's pop if it goes on the radio.
Okay, but there's a lot of songs that go on the radio that are not pop. So
On your daily, most commercial, run-of-the-mill, follow all the family fun radio.
basically,
No.
you could consider pop is literally.
Even Metallica as a song that goes in one of these radios. At that point, they were pop metal.
Oh god, pop metal.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Pop is popular. It's
Oh,
for the masses.
God.
It's the mainstream. It's when you hit that, when you break into the mainstream.
I hate when metal goes mainstream because it's just not. Metal is just the opposite of mainstream. Like that's the whole purpose of it. It's a community that is almost like. Sure, people are allowed to. I think with metal is people are allowed to come in, but metal is not allowed to leak out. I think. If it leaks out, it contaminates itself. Is what I think. Like if you start mixing metal with other like genres like
Like Ghost does.
like what Ghost
Version.
does, sure, but Ghost is like if it's
No,
to the rock side, like the more
definitely.
softer side, it's okay. But if it like I don't know. I just don't like when people put pop in my metal. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, when you try to make something that's accessible to a lot of things, to a lot of people,
Yeah.
to a large crowd, yeah, I get that. You'll end up losing its.
It's essence.
Yeah, it's no longer hardcore.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, what was I going to? There was this one band I was going to talk about. No, not band, but this a genre again. Like you can call it black metal, for example, if it's mainstream. I mean, can you? If
Uh,
like black metal strives to remain underground, like true cult black metal. Anyway,
True cult. The
Mhm.
the pure blood black
Like
metal.
giving a show for just one person.
Giving a show for Satan himself.
Well,
That's
that's a
the
dream. That's the dream, ain't it?
that's a dream. Like it's just this big ass stadium with a
It-
large chair.
Shit. Now I'm thinking. The devil went down to Georgia, but the devil went down to Norway.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
cover.
There's like this throne made of skeletons that's also sitting like atop a pile of skeletons and
More skeletons.
goat skeletons
Goat
specifically.
skeletons.
And the bands just do the show for him, kind of like Norway's Got Talent. That would be a great show to watch on TV.
Crap. If you win,
What happens if you win? You go to hell.
what happens if you lose then?
You don't go to hell.
Oh yeah, going to hell is the dream. I forget.